Hello, God bless. This is Daniel Maximus, and today's vlog is gonna be called The Masters. Who are the Masters? Let me give you guys a little clue. They are known as the Illuminati, the evildoers, deep state, the fiends behind, the ones behind the curtains, like the Wizard of Oz, those guys. Yeah. So previously I made a video on Elphinstein. I don't even know if you guys have seen it. Please go ahead and watch it if you haven't. It details what my thoughts on the attempt, or should I say the successful attempt on him committing suicide, which is BS. And just a big one of the biggest joke that will go down in history, mainly because I don't know if he was going to be a whistleblower, or I don't know if he was going to take everyone down with him, or for whatever reason it was. Although I know the primary reason was that he knew too much, and since it didn't kill him last previous attempt, they succeeded in doing it so, and their only excuse to provide to authorities as to how he accomplished that is that he committed his suicide. I think the only way, when you're in suicide watch, the only way that you can actually kill yourself is you swan dive backwards and land on your head, but you never know with these people. So anyways, going back to the topic at hand, the Masters, who are they? Just to be very blunt on this topic, I'm gonna just disclose what my thoughts in the Illuminati are, my take, what I know about them since I was in middle school, because this is something I've been interested in talking about since I was little. Well, since I came across of it. It came out with, I guess it all started with Obama. Like it all actually not with Obama, with George Bush. It all came forward with George Bush. Then the Clintons followed, then Obama, now Trump, and now, the whole politics circus, PC culture, and all that comes along with it followed. So, which is what we are living now today. So this secret society goes back to the Pharisees, really since the beginning of time, where Christ was here, and it was the Pharisees the first, and then it transcended it from that. It branched out throughout the world, and as you can see, I'm letting you guys know now, deep state is not just within the constitutional republic. It's not in the United States alone. It branches outside of the United States, where communist countries are at, dictator fascist countries are, even extends towards Africa and Nigeria and Europe and India. They're the principalities of the world, pretty much. In the inner circle, the people of inner circle with power are them, and they're not the PG-13 Cinderella Disney princess that you see from Disney, coming out of Disney. And nor or anything related to folklore, as you guys have been seeing lately. They tend to lie about what these people were, so you cannot really based on what you guys seen through movies and TV shows and novels, because typically those are lies, PG-13 lies, to cover up what they really were. So it's very, you guys need to be very aware of that, because this is how these people work. They lie all the time, and the fake news have confirmed it. So so who are they? They're pretty much the ones responsible for not only the worst heinous acts in history, but also for covering their tracks throughout history as well. As the Dark Ages, the burning of the books, Hitler's past. And if you guys weren't aware, it also starts with, I think it has ties to the Bible as well. because the Bible clearly says that these are the principalities, the rulers of this world, like the evil spirits, I guess you can call them, the fiends, the demonic entities, the elites, pretty much, are what they're known for. This, well, in other words, they're fallen angels taking form of people, influencing society, and are responsible for the governments that you see today. The institutional, at an institutional and at a federal state, they are pretty much the controllers, and and the creators of politics. So there, you guys should now be aware how politics is turning out to be, which is a sporting team / a counter religion, which is extremely comical, considering that if you look at the New World Order agenda, which is pretty much what they are notoriously well known for, pushing forward a authoritarian, actually totalitarian, one world government where one ruler, which is, I have to assume, is their the puppeteer master himself, Satan, who is masquerading from behind since the days of, I don't know if you guys read Job, but it says that he patrols the world, watching everything that goes. So that should give you an indication of who and what this entity wants, and is pretty much full control of the world. And of course, since the entity knows his future, I have to assume that the reason why he's doing all of this is to get back at God by taking as much souls as possible straight into hell. So that should give you an indication of what these entities want and what their methods and their goal is, which is pretty much to destroy mankind. Just like they did in the days of Noah, where only like 4 or 6 people survived, and the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, where only like 3 people survived. So they have succeeded in obtaining at least that, but they haven't completely succeeded, because there's always a way out. And of course, there's the mythology behind Atlantis, which perished under the ocean for I don't know whatever reason it was. Maybe it ties to them, maybe it's not. And so there has been catastrophes that I don't want to say documented, but it has been seen in the Bible clearly. Sorry for referencing a lot, but it does has a unique, I guess you could say, the Bible influenced our society's principle and moral, and has been around. It's the one book that has been around and mostly read, and has been going around in history as one of the most read books and influential books out there, documenting things that that are even being discovered today, especially in Jerusalem. This goes back to biblical times and current times. And for example, I don't know if you guys seen the Pope. I don't know if it was Pope II who kissed the Quran, and then it goes back to the murder of Michael Jackson, who said that the press always lies and they never tell the truth, that the history books are lying. And as you guys can see through the burnouts, through what happened in the Hitler's regime, where a lot of documentations were burned. So it should give you guys a glimpse at how these people operate, by destroying the original context and rewriting it in their own image and their own interpretation. It's just like what Google is doing, and YouTube as well, and what Twitter and Facebook are notoriously been doing with the censorship. So pretty much these are the people, the entities that are responsible for making sure that society perishes in condemnation at a very large scale. So by feeding them tyranny of lies and false hopes, and they're pretty much everything they claim to be fighting against, which I would say is pretty sad and I guess narcissistic, and it puts your thought on that we're living in a meritocracy into question. But in truth, it's also revealed in the Bible as well that you have to submit to government, because you cannot live in a world of anarchy either. So there's that. You need to also be aware that you have to follow the law. As crazy as it might sound, you kind of have to, whether it's abnormal or normal. Although in today's society, we've been seeing a lot of abnormal laws being passed down, like the Equality Act, which is super authoritarian and anti-amendment, and we've been seeing special treatments being given and people being treated unequally under the pretense of equality. So, and we're seeing prosecution of not only Christians but also those who take part in Catholics within the United States, where they can practice their own religion. So there's the persecution happening within the United States as well as outside. But the same people who are after, they've been getting away with stripping people's personal freedoms away, and now it seems like they're really going at it. So there's that, and we're seeing self-righteous celebrities taking part in politics, which doesn't really concern them in the slightest, considering that they live in gated communities and they have the best privileges and money that actually the best privilege money can buy. So they're completely detached from the common problems of Americans and the common people. So, and as we all been known about celebrities, they are pretty much paid to promote, for publicity, to promote. They're expendable, so they're pretty much the marketing of the elites. The ones who they put in to promote what they're trying to approve. So it's been going around since a very long time, and these entities are straight from hell, as you all are aware. With the vaccines and the cover-ups and the institutional level control. Like, have you been seeing the poverty, the longevity of poverty? And they're after raising taxes. They're after stripping all of personal freedoms away. They're completely after. They even control the educational system. So what's being fed to your kids? Who are the ones who are influencing your kids? Because your parent, some people complain about single parents households, and they complain about helicopter parenting, which are also responsible for why millennials are even favoring socialism. But it's pretty much based on who has more time to be influencing your kids, because your parents are at jobs that sometimes exceed 40 hours. So who's in control of the influencing of your kids? The music they hear, the culture is also in their control. So Disney has completely taken over the television and movies, so much that they don't even have competition, for their movies and films. Like Marvel is under their control, and within Marvel there's a group called the Illuminati, which are a group of superheroes, which are starting Iron Man. So, there's that. So, you guys need to be aware of the branch of their control, and they're not just for controlling within America. They're branching out throughout the world. We've been seeing immigration, which is actually emptying out populations and relocating them elsewhere, and there's no revolution that's going on in those countries. I mean, the UN is completely useless because the countries funding them are themselves unsuccessful and useless. So, it's a facade. They are, the Democrats and Republicans are pretty much yin yang to each other. I mean, dig this. The Democrats are blandly racist and intolerant, not for open ideas, so much that they're not even hiding behind a facade. So they're evil assholes, straight from hell. like no remorse or empathy. They're all just talk, and or everything they claim to be fighting against. But Republicans are like this effort that I see today by them. Where was it 8 years ago? So it took them Trump to wake up and smell the roses. I don't buy it. Like I don't buy it. This awakening that I'm seeing from the Republican side, which was a collapsing platform, really, until Trump took office. And Trump himself is from Hollywood, so I had to put that into consideration. So and these riots and these disastrous shootings that I've been seeing around, usually from kids that are from resentment echo chambers, because these are kids who you would look at and you say they cannot harm a fly, but boy they can, and they can snap in a blink of an eye. So if you guys read The Black Awakening, I encourage you guys to read it so you can see where we're at, because it details you what we're allowing in our society, and politics has a lot to do with it. So because isn't politics what controls what is approved by law and not? So I mean, look at the Congress. Congress is the purse of our country. Like it's funny. It's very funny to me, and it's more than just a matrix. It has to do with I guess eating from the forbidden fruit. And I feel that I feel like we have eaten from the forbidden fruit, and I have opened ourselves to what's going on in our society around us. It has been going on. Like we have been waking up. People needs to start. That's just it. People need to start waking up for real, and seeing who or what are allowing themselves to be thought leaders, and because they're familiar spirits, and then there are true spirits, and these people are responsible for sex trafficking. I mean, they're responsible for causing great depressions, like the Great Depression, like what happened within the United States. And I'm gonna quote Lady Gaga, like I did in the previous video. These are an invisible snake that is plotting to attack, and is thinking to himself, I'm going to divide the groups into smaller groups so it will be easier for us to attack. And while each group is blaming themselves and trying to discover which group is causing the problem, evil's winning. And that's how the hierarchy of demons pretty much work. Divide and conquer, just like they did, like from, I guess you can say, the original rebel and radical was Lucifer, because the guy literally, when iniquity was found within him, literally attempted to overthrow God along with like 1/3 of his angels. And the guy literally attempted to overthrow God, and God stepped in and cast him from heaven, and he felt like lightning from lightning from the sky straight into the earth. So and now he's known as the prince of this earth. God is the king, obviously, and creator, but he's the prince. So and some people just dismiss him as just a defeated foe with no power, but truth be told, he has power. It's just limited, but he does has power. So I hope to God that people start waking up to the reality that at the end of the day, the prophecy has to be fulfilled, and these people are aware of the prophecy. Whether they, have you guys been seeing how they are? There's a lot of time, Back to the Future movies coming out, like branching out into all different kinds, like X-Men and Terminator and Mortal Kombat now, for some stupid reason. And they're trying. I guess they're trying to change the future by going back to the past. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but they're trying to find a way to reverse the future to their satisfaction, so it won't happen. So don't you guys find that a little bit coincidental that they're making movies about going back to the future a lot, actually going back to the past to change the future a lot? So they're not stupid. They're intelligent, you know, evil assholes that are aware of their future, but they're trying to change it, and they're trying to, before they face trial for all of their wrongdoings, like the September 11, like Titanic, like the killing of celebrities who have influenced our society, and decided to that they were fed up, and like Whitney Houston was, and they were in OJ, no, not OJ, Dirty Bastard, I think his name was. Like they were trying to voice what these government were doing. They were killed, and they're behind the shootings. Like, you know, these people who have been caught, like fake news, CNN and particularly, and mainstream media have been caught staging stuff to prove that they staged. I mean, they lie continuously. So it's no surprise that they're behind all of these catastrophes, because they're trying to change people's minds. They're the culture of hate and fear. They are the evil, and you know, they're pretty much the fiends, that they're trying to be friendly, but they're trying to strip people's personal freedoms away, and they can succeed in doing it. Although time is not in their favor, because they know their time is short. But they also are aware that the prophecy has to be fulfilled, and before it is concluded, they will claim as many victims as they can, because they know that the ultimate trial is coming, and they're coming straight for them too, not just for mankind, you know. So, and this goes back to since the beginning of time, you know. They're always been. There's rumors and speculations that it may be the Catholic Church, because they are, again, the richest. I mean, they sit in golden thrones. And as you guys are aware, with the pedophilia and the lesbianism within, and their immorality, not to mention that they're very powerful sources. I mean, these people have libraries underground and tunnels and knowledge. They've been around. Have you seen all the dictators like Hitler and Stalin? And you can see that the Catholic Church is behind it. Like, you can see popes taking you know, if you guys have read the book Smoke Screens, I suggest you do so. You know, I will put a link below also on Alberto, which is a comic, Crusader comics. So you guys can be aware of how serious this is. They are the whore of Babylon, really. You know, so it's no surprise that they might be behind this ordeal. You know, or because let's be realistic, the cathedral burning was not an act of terrorism done not for the Catholic Church. I guarantee you 100% it was an act of, you know, I guess you can say, some kind of, whatchamacallit? I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the word for it. So, it was not an act of terrorism. It was more like a diplomatic, like a form of diplomatics, you know, so they can get along with each other, like an act of diplomatic unity or tribute, or, you know, it was pretty much made for diplomacy. It was a theatrical diplomacy act, and I really don't, you know, it does not feel well with me, you know, with the September 11 either, and what they're letting. And as you guys are aware, the influence from society was from Christianity. It's not the same as Islam. So, you know, in what positive way has Islam you know, forged our society in comparison to other religions? It's a joke to me. It's just a joke to me. And even though I will say this, that Islam wasn't always radical, going back to the 60s and 70s, Wahhabism has completely full control of, you know, and took over Islam, to the point that you know, people complain that Islam may be a monotony, but it's not really. It's so, Wahhabism has taken over, and those, you know, elites who have poured money into that narrative are not being held responsible, or not taking responsibility for it, as Yen Hirasi Ali once said. So, you know, and unfortunately, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So what I'm seeing in today's society is pretty much it's being little by little, with the increasing rebellion, it's being morphed into a large insane asylum. Lawlessness, and just right is wrong and wrong is right, and, you know, a complete 180 in what we stood for as the foundation of our country. So, and this is what feeds these entities: hate, fear, and division, and people coming together for a cause it guarantees your own destruction. So isn't Desiree pretty much what they stood for? So I hope to God that, you know, that they start waking up to the realization that, you know, you're in the midst of a black awakening. You're not in the midst of the great awakening. By the time the great awakening happens, it's most likely going to be too late, because there's where people are going to be the most scared and lost and confused so much. They're going to be desperate looking for a leader, and the leader that's going to rise up they're going to think is the leader that they long been awaiting for, with all the answers, but it's not. So, you know, may God have mercy when that happens, and because I know for a fact that they're going to face trial, and when that happens, it will be broadcast where all the world is going to see, because technology is rising up. You can even see, you have access to information from the comfort of your own house through your iPhone. It's going to be broadcast entirely. Everyone will see these people for what they are, and their actions will be known to all. And then they're all going to see that they've been tricked, and you know, it's going to be the eye opener, the massive eye opener that the world is looking for, and it's coming soon, if not sooner. So these are the masters. So I got their name from West Cavern's vampires. So, you know, be on guard and question everything, and remember that God is with you at all times. And for those of you who don't believe in Him, He believes in you. And, you know, see you guys real soon. God bless, and have yourself a great day.